What's going on, everybody? Round one, wild card series are done. Pretty exciting, I would say so. You think they were exciting, Manny?
Yeah, man, that was a good round. But there were some surprising things that came of it, and I think that the next round is going to be even better. I
So
think the
for
matchups, the setup for the next matchups are really, really good.
I think the next matchups are really interesting.
Yeah.
First thoughts on the American League wild card series. The Twins should be moved to the National League. I think that's the only way they're ever going to get out of this.
How do you lose 18 straight postseason games? Like at some point, I feel like even the Corozo Gold Sox, shout out to you guys, even though you lost it. Are you guys eliminated officially?
We're not eliminated. I had a rough game at third today. I feel like I was asleep in the beginning, and I don't really want to talk about it. So
Okay, let's move on then.
okay.
But I feel like even you guys could sneak a win in 18 games against the Twins. Like it's just like it goes against
Yeah,
logic in a
you know
way.
they lost to the only sub 500 team, the team that I thought was not a threat on the
Yeah.
American League side. And they didn't do the Astros to me didn't do anything that like overpowered the Twins in any way. I think they only scored one or two runs in the first game. Second game they scored I think more than that, but it was a pretty close game until the end.
Yeah.
So I know Nelson Cruz had the only RBI in the first game, I believe. I know he had another RBI in the second game. Nelson Cruz hit well, but that Twins lineup, man, made me look like shit. This is like the third time this team.
I don't get it, man. I mean, they didn't have Donaldson for the series, which kind of sucks, but
Yeah, but
you would think that they'd have enough to sneak by the Astros.
that Kenta Maeda start, man, that was the one they had to win. He pitched like 7 scoreless innings.
Yeah. And then what did you think about Carlos Correa's comments after?
Um, I think that Carlos Correa has like an ego problem or something where like he needs to let people know that he's above a certain level of like criticism or whatever. But man, that was stupid because like it was the wild card series. Remember I
Yeah.
said earlier like they shouldn't even celebrate advancing from the wild card series, not
Mm-hmm.
even the ALDS. Celebrate when you win the ALCS or whatever. So that's how I feel about the whole thing. I thought it was kind of stupid. He made that comment. Uh and I think he should shut up sometimes, but
I feel like every team that made it to the postseason, aside from the Marlins, I agree with you to an extent. It's unnecessary to celebrate a victory or to gloat the way that Carlos Correa was gloating. And then to top it off, like you said, they were the only team that entered the postseason with a sub 500 record. So it's not like you are necessarily deserving of even being there. That's A.
yeah.
And B, you beat a team that hasn't won a postseason game in like 20 years or something. So
Yeah.
if you win the next series, you're facing off against Oakland and you want to gloat a little bit, you could start gloating then.
Yeah.
But until then, please shut up.
Yeah. Um I don't get, and I only read what the comment was. I didn't bother even watching the post game interview.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was baited into that question or if they paraphrased what he said. Either way, man, just shut the hell up. Like, stop acting like he has to stop acting like they're victims of some sort of like, I
Right.
don't know,
Exactly.
like they created this
You
situation that they're in right
cheated.
now.
You know
They're
what
the
I
one
mean?
you
Like,
guys got caught red-handed, man. Like, and I'm still a fan of guys like Michael Brantley and Jose Altuve. I'll admit I'm still a fan. Alex Bregman, if he ever turns it up again and becomes what he was, I'll be excited to watch them pitch. Like, I mean, play Justin Verlander, like that whole team. I'm still a fan. I'm not gonna like completely write them off, but Carlos Correa needs to shut the hell up, man. Like he's already like 3 for 3 in these situations, man. Like,
yeah, and like there's a way that he could have gone about it where you could kind of understand what he's trying to say. Like had he said like, okay, like we're just excited that we're moving on to the next round and we want to prove to the world that we're the real deal, that we didn't
yeah,
need to cheat, blah blah blah, then you could be like, okay, like I like his energy. But he came at it as if like we're attacking the Ash. Like
yeah. What are
you
they gonna
guys,
say now?
yeah, you guys created this problem. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like we didn't
yeah.
we it's not an imaginary story. It was real. We have proof that you
like
cheated. You know
like
what I
the
mean?
like the Marlins were wearing those swamp jerseys. What was it?
Yeah, the bottom feeders.
Bottom feeders, yeah, the bottom feeders things, and they could come out and say like, oh, like what are they gonna say now? Like they could pretty much say whatever they want. Uh, Carlos Correa could have even said something like, "We just want to win and shut everybody up." Like
That's it.
he could have even gone like on the aggressive side and said something like that. I would have had no problem with it, but the guy's a mental, he has
Yeah.
ego problems. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and there's just no need for it. But anyway, let's move on from Twins, Astros. The other important development or big development was that a central teams made it to the postseason, and every single one of them was eliminated.
Yep.
Every single one of them. Um, I have to admit I was wrong about the Cincinnati Reds, but I was wrong not because of the reasons why I thought the Cincinnati Reds were a dangerous team is because of their pitching. And then I thought that their hitting, if they got hot enough, could carry them into a World Series. I still believe in guys like Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, Nicolas Castellanos. They have a really good offensive team when they're hot. Unfortunately, they could not score a run and they were eliminated in 2 games. So that's over with now.
So
What do you think about the Central teams?
So we had the Cubs, the Reds, the Milwaukee Brewers. What was the fourth central
Uh,
team?
Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Cardinals,
Yeah,
uh,
that was it.
Indians, White Sox, Twins.
Yeah. So ignore the Twins because we already spoke about the Twins.
Yeah,
Cubs were pretty disappointing. I think Baez, Rizzo, Bryan went like
yeah,
over 12.
yeah,
They didn't even win a game against the Marlins, but I like the Marlins team. Like their pitching held it down. So and the Cubs still managed to score runs. Uh, the Cincinnati Reds disappointed because they had so many opportunities to. I watched both games. They were like the earliest games in the day,
hmm
and Trevor Bauer pitched amazing, by the way.
yeah,
So he has every right to gloat about his accomplishment. But that was disappointing because, like, when I see Joey Votto come up with a man in scoring position, he actually put the ball in play a lot. He just hit it right at the
yeah.
guy. But to not score one run in the playoffs, first game went to I think 13 innings or something,
hmm
and then to not score a run in the next game, like that's just
They had opportunities too. They had like runners
plenty,
on
yeah.
first and third or something with one out. I think in the 12th inning, like they had plenty of opportunities and they just squandered it.
Not even counting, like not even including the opportunities that they stopped the Braves from scoring because the
Right.
Braves had a lot. The Braves kind of were disappointing too in terms of like
Yeah.
their run production because they had a lot of opportunities as well and they didn't score. And for them to not capitalize on that was pretty disappointing. I would say the Reds, Cubs, Twins.
The
That
Brewers, like,
I'm all right with that. I didn't expect them.
yeah,
I didn't expect them to beat the Dodgers, man. I'm happy the Dodgers put in work. Clayton Kershaw finally dominated in a playoff start beyond like just elite shit.
right.
Clayton Kershaw, 13 Ks, I think 8 innings.
Yeah, yeah. He was a beast.
Probably never see a
And
start like that in a while from Clayton
no,
Kershaw.
right. And then the other thing was the Bieber start. So I guess we could talk about the Yankees and the Indians real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like Bieber had all the pressure in the world on him. I think that he was the key to the Indians. And I felt like had they won game 1, I really don't think the Yankees would have stood a chance against the Cleveland Indians.
Well, game two was a
And
roller coaster.
game 2 was insane. But anyway, with game 1, I think as soon as Aaron Judge hit that 2-run home run in the first inning, it was over. I was like, okay, I'm relaxed. I feel good. And I think that relaxed the entire team.
Baseball's fixed. And I'm
Yeah, okay.
convinced. Bro, this guy didn't give up 4 runs the entire year. He ends
Yeah.
up giving up 7,
7.
including a wall to the wall shot from Brett Gardner. Like Brett Gardner, if not for the wall being so tall, Brett Gardner would have had a home run against Shane Bieber, man.
But is it that it's fixed, or is it that this is something I want to talk about real quick. Is it that they didn't face any teams outside of their own regions? They hadn't seen the Yankees all year. So the only competition he's had is within the Central.
All the teams that got eliminated.
All the teams that got eliminated. So were they as good as we think they were? You know what I mean?
Well, I know the Indians hit a skid where they lost like 7 games in a row, and we were questioning whether or not they were even going to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Shane Bieber's, to me, is still the clear-cut best pitcher in the AL. Should get the Cy Young award. For him to go out there and look average,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, you know, let's look at the over and under that day for the bet slips and shit. Let's see. Maybe Vegas got into the game somehow. Maybe they're like, "Oh,
Oh
Bieber,
my
just
God.
leave him over." Nah, get credit to the Yankees. Credit to the Yankees. I thought the Indians were gonna win that series. Um, Got to give it up to Garrett Cole. He pitched extremely well,
Sure did.
and I'll be honest with you guys, man. I fell asleep like once Gary Sanchez hit the go-ahead two run homer in
In
game
game
two
two?
when it
Oh, I
was
fell asleep too.
8-6. I was like, nope, I can't do it.
I tried, but I fell asleep. And
Speaking of
but
that game,
yeah.
though, it starts with a hurricane in the background,
What the fuck was that about?
and they end up just getting, I think, 2 batters in, and they end up putting the tarp over the field. It's like they should have just. I was reading it was like 50-mile-per-hour winds. I don't know. I haven't seen a game like that ever.
I had the Weather Channel app open because I saw what they were doing, and I was like, what like this must be, it must be that the radar has this storm like passing over and it's delayed by a few minutes or something. Like this is gonna pass. I had the Weather Channel app open on my phone, and I was looking at the radar there, and they were like right in the middle of the storm. Like,
Yeah.
wait
I,
another hour and you're good. Instead, what they ended up doing was good shit on Carlos Carrasco because he held it down for the team for the most part. But Masahiro Tanaka, like you essentially fucked him up. You fucked up his start because
yep.
he had to go out there. It was 2 delays because it was delayed initially and then they delayed it again. And he held it down too for the most part. He went into the 5th inning, but like, what the fuck? That was insane. That was the dumbest decision I've seen, this entire, well, it's only been 1 round, but this postseason so far, if you're going to say what the dumbest decision was, it was that one. 100%.
It has to be something about the advertisements that they were running in the first inning or something, and they were like, "You got to get this in before it's 9 o'clock. Otherwise, like
Yeah.
it's pointless that we even paid you guys for this
It was so stupid,
advertisement
man.
or whatever, man." I don't
So
know.
something else real quick related to the Bieber thing and how I said that he only pitched against Central teams. I think that baseball should think about and they're not going to do this, but it's an idea, and you're going to say that I'm ruining the game or whatever. But just for this season, award 3 Cy Youngs, award 3 MVPs, one for the East, one for the Central, one for the West, because they didn't intermingle at any point. So Shane Bieber was the best pitcher, but he was the best pitcher in the Central. We don't know what would have happened had he faced the Yankees in the regular season, or the Red Sox, or the Oakland A's. Maybe his numbers wouldn't have been that good. Same thing with Trevor Bauer. So what do you think of that? Awarding awards for each region, not for the entire league.
That has to be the single dumbest idea. I'm kidding. No, honestly, you make a good point. And I don't think it would be in a year where we allowed extra innings to start with the runner on second and batters to do whatever, players to do whatever they want to their cleats. Fuck it, man. 2020 was crazy. Give regional awards.
Fuck it.
And maybe you're right about the whole thing, man. Maybe he faced Central and dominated Central, but things would have been different had it been a regular season. I agree.
And I don't want to take anything away from Bieber. This is talking about fantasy baseball here, which is not real life. That's why it has the word fantasy in it. I think I had Bieber ranked as a top 3 starter in baseball in fantasy, and I think he went in the first round for us. So, I'm a believer in Bieber. I'm a Shane believer. Anyway, that was corny. Moving on. The Miami Marlins. I mentioned earlier about the Carlos Correa comments. I think the only team that I could understand celebrating is the Miami Marlins. And I really love this team's swagger. And I'm not going to lie, CT, I wouldn't be surprised if they advanced, if they beat the Atlanta Braves in the next round.
See, I thought they would face off against the Dodgers, but it's the Padres that are playing the Dodgers.
No,
right?
so all right, so this is a quick aside. One of the dumbest things about this bracket, one of the reasons why, and I mentioned this in a previous episode, why I think if baseball's going to move it, is going to use this system, the 16 teams, 8 in each league. then they need to just seed it just like the NBA does. The top 8 teams get in, not by division. It doesn't have to be the first place team in each division or whatever, because you're in a situation now where the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to face off against the San Diego Padres, who, by the way, I think had the second best record in the National League. Shouldn't they be facing the next worst team, which would have been by record, which would have been the Miami Marlins?
If the Dodgers are the number 1 seed, clear cut the number 1 seed, which I think they were because they faced off against the Brewers, then it would make sense that they face the Marlins and the Padres and the Padres and the Braves face off to the winner of that.
Right. So now the path to the World Series has become harder for the Dodgers now. And now with Clevenger potentially returning, which a little preview into a segment we're going to do later. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. This team is super exciting. And the way Fernando Tatis is carrying this team, I wouldn't be surprised if the San Diego Padres somehow snuck past the Dodgers. I don't think they're going to win the series, but if they did, I'm not going to sit here and be like shocked. You know what I mean?
It's definitely the tougher matchup. And in the AL as well, I think it makes more. I think the Rays were the clear cut number 1 seed as well.
They should be facing the Astros.
They should have been facing the Astros. Yep.
I would agree. It's crazy. But anyway, that's aside from the fact the Miami Marlins are super exciting. They're embracing that bottom feeder name or whatever. They look like they have the team chemistry going. Sixto Sanchez looks like a legitimate ace. He went toe-to-toe with Yu Darvish in was a game they only played 2 games. Game two of the ALDS. I love this team, man. I have them moving on to the NLCS. We'll go through our picks in a little bit, but what do you think about the Marlins?
I think the Marlins are great. Like, I think they're underrated for all of us that wrote them off in the beginning of the year. We were poking fun at them for being the only team that had like 16 players testing positive for COVID of all teams, like shit. And we were saying they had like a AAA team out there, or who are they going to field out there and all that stuff. So I do like the Marlins. About Sixto Sanchez, though, I think he's like raw talent for a pitcher, and that he could be molded into the next big thing. But I noticed watching his start, and I didn't watch too many of his starts this year, maybe just like the first 2. He pretty much is just like a hurler at this point, kind of like Luis Severino.
Yeah.
He kind of just hurls the ball in there, and because he throws pretty much like a sinking fastball, he's able to get ahead of hitters or like make mistakes and not get penalized for it. So I think he will be the next big thing, but he should definitely work on his like mechanics, I think. But right now, that to me, he's just like pure raw talent.
Yeah.
Can't fake it. Clearly has the nasty shit. I don't know why I cursed there. So unnecessary.
It's okay. If it perfectly. All right. Before we move on to our next segment, I just want to recap real quick our picks. Luis, aka CT, aka LA, aka Hollywood, aka Luis Angel, aka Chanche.
Nice. Thank you.
You hear my page just turning here. My daughter took over my notebook. For the American League, you picked the Rays, the Indians. Wait a minute. Let me just tell you what you picked. You picked the Rays to win, the Indians to win, the Marlins. No, you didn't.
I did pick the Marlins.
You did pick the Marlins. The A's. Oh, Minnesota. I'm sorry. Let me do this again.
Yeah.
In the American League, you picked the Rays, the Indians, the Twins, and the A's. You went 2 for 4 there. You got 2 right out of 4. In the National League, you picked the Dodgers, the Padres, the Marlins, and Cincinnati. You went 3 for 4. I picked the in the AL. I picked the Rays, the Indians. We went similar, the same picks. In the National League, was the only difference we had was I picked the Cubs, you picked the Marlins, and I think I picked it just because I wanted to be different, not because that's what I believed.
Yeah,
I went 2 for 2. Anyway, our record in picks: you're 5-3, I'm 4-4. All right, so we're gonna keep track of this. We're gonna see who's the real baseball expert. So the next rounds, like we mentioned earlier, to me are more interesting than the first rounds, even though they're not necessarily the fair matchups. Like we said, the Padres are going to face off against the Dodgers. That's not necessarily a fair matchup because the Dodgers should be facing off against Miami. Anyway, Miami's facing off against Atlanta, Tampa Bay against New York, Houston against Oakland. Let's start with Tampa Bay versus the greatest team of all time, the New York Yankees, the New York Highlanders, aka the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, if you will.
A true division series for the ages. All matchups are actually division series.
They
So,
are.
yeah.
Wow, good point.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're all grown up.
Thank you, man. So for the first matchup, Rays versus Yankees.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go 5 games. I think the Rays take it.
Ooh.
And I'm conflicted here because in the beginning of the year I said Rays, I don't even know if they'll be a wild card team. Yet here I am admitting them being the 1 seed overall, and I have them advancing to the ALCS.
Okay.
Manny.
Well, there's no question what my pick is. How could I go against my team? I did in the first round, I think. Did I or didn't I? Hold on. Go back and check.
You did go against them in the first round, yep.
I went against them. I went Cleveland. I can't go against them now, even though I'm not very confident, especially after that second game in Cleveland. It revealed the biggest weakness in this team, and it's what has been their biggest strength since 1995 when they had Wetland and Mariano Rivera, and that's the bullpen. That the Yankees bullpen makes me super nervous, and the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen is the best bullpen in baseball.
Yes.
Not only that, the Yankees are going to have to get past Blake Snell, who I don't know why they don't let him go past 5 innings anymore, but he doesn't.
Something tells me with Blake Snell. Remember how he was talking about pitching in the COVID season and how he wants his money and all this stuff. To me, there must be some sort of like backdoor agreement or under the table agreement where they're like, you know what, I'll play this year, but this is all I'm giving you. You only want to pay me a half my salary. Because otherwise, what else is it, man? I don't get it. I drafted this guy on my team this year, expecting him to be what he was, and I know he was working his load up because of injury.
Yeah.
And this guy, until I gave him to you, he was nothing. So
even when you gave him to me, he pitched great games, but he never went past the 5th inning. At times, he was removed in the 4th inning. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I get that their bullpen is the shit, but why?
I should have saved that little Blake Snell comment for the next segment that we're doing.
All right, whatever. Tyler Glasnow, beast. They have Charlie Morton. They have 3 legit starting pitchers. The Yankees have to get past, and then they have to go against their bullpen, the best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah,
I think the Yankees have swagger. I think they have that magic behind them and stuff. Like that Gio Urshela grand slam was a monster. Giancarlo Stanton looks like he's, I don't want to jinx it, but he's looking like Giancarlo Stanton somewhat. Aaron Judge might be healthy again. I'm going Yankees.
Okay.
I'm not going to go against my team this time, and that's probably going to work against them. Shit. Should I pick the Rays?
Too late.
Fuck. All right.
You can't, again, it's not what you say, man. It's what you feel internally. If you really feel like the Yankees are going to win, then they're fucked. If you really feel like, yeah.
Damn. All right. Sorry, guys. Houston, Oakland. Who do you got?
All right. So the fact that Oakland, they lost game 1 against the White Sox. The White Sox are a good team. They went ahead early in game 2 and won game 2. Then game 3, they were losing, obviously, until they weren't. I hope I have that right. My memory serves me correctly. There's something about Oakland being like the Twins, kind of like
they won their first series in I don't know.
Yeah,
how long?
I think since I heard Matt Vasgersian, because Matt Vasgersian's an Oakland fan, said that the A's hadn't won a clinching series game since like 1990. Damn. I don't know, man. Probably just pull that number out of my ass, but there's something about the Oakland A's having that like Twins factor where like they just can't get out of their way in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Houston comes out on top somehow, because although Houston to me isn't the better team, they figured out a way to beat Twins, man. I thought the Twins were a great team. So
yeah,
wouldn't be shocked if Houston finds a way to win it, but I'm picking Oakland because they're just a better team. So I'm picking Oakland. Yeah.
Okay. I'm also picking Oakland, although I would love if the Yankees defeated the Rays where there's beef, quote unquote. And if they ended up facing off against the Astros in the ALCS, that would be, to me, how better to for this postseason to play out if it was like that. But I just don't believe in the Astros enough this year. I think they're gonna get eliminated in the ALDS, and I think it's only gonna go like 4 games. I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah.
They're gonna sneak in a win in there, and then they're gonna.
You know, I'm not actually gonna put an opinion on what I think the games are gonna be like, because I do see a scenario where the Astros pull the series out and like win. So just gonna stay out of that. I'm not gonna
Okay.
want to throw any. I don't want to see the Astros beat the A's. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I don't either. All right, so we similar picks there. All right, next round, Dodgers versus Padres. Who you got, brah?
I think the Dodgers will win that Padres series. I know Fernando Tatis woke up. I know Manny Machado can't really say he didn't wake up, because I feel like he just wasn't in the right situation to come up big in a game. But
did you see that home run he hit? Who was it? Who was it against? But he almost had Juan Soto swagger in that at bat. I can't remember. It was the back to back when Tatis went deep and then Machado went deep. You could tell he knew what was coming. He knew something was gonna happen.
yeah,
because he was shimmying, he was shaking his head around like I got this, and boom, and that bat flip. I think that was a game changer.
Yeah, man.
For the Padres, that was amazing.
That was a really good game. That was probably the best
game.
That was the best game of the season. And also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but Yadier Molina steps his game up in the playoffs.
Yeah,
because he was always on base. Like, and I know he got his 100th hit in playoffs history or whatever. He's like 5th all time. I don't know, but I still think the Dodgers are going to win. Mookie Betts is the X factor there. The fact that Clayton Kershaw had a dominating start, I feel like there's no 162 game wear and tear on him right now where he's going to be like fatigued or anything. So yes.
All right, so you got the Dodgers? I do too. I picked the Dodgers too. I just think the Dodgers they're too good, man. That team is just too powerful in every aspect. Kenley Jansen had a good season. You know, you have Kershaw, Buehler, Dustin May. I don't know who's going to be the third starter, but they have a decent starting rotation. And then that lineup, man, you know, Cody Bellinger had a weak season, but if he wakes up at some point, they're going to be unstoppable, that lineup. How do you go from Corey Seager, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner? It's just every bat that comes up to the plate is a dangerous bat. Max Muncy, you could go on and on and on and on with that team.
And not to mention that the Padres used, I think it was like 27 relief arms, something crazy, some crazy number like that. I know Zach Davies only pitched 2 innings. Then I think Paddock only pitched 2 innings. So that was game 1 and 2. Since that, they used an opener for the third game in the Cardinal series. But just think about that. 4 innings from starting pitching. Yeah. The rest was just straight up bullpen. I don't think that's going to, unless they get Clevenger and Lamet back, there's just no way they're going to be able to cover that in a 5-game series against the Dodgers, man, who you really can't pitch around. So
yeah,
I think it's the Dodgers.
At the same time, if Clevenger comes back, which they're saying he might, Dinelson Lamet, I'm looking at his, by the way, from Santiago. I didn't know that. Did you know he was from Santiago?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so represent, man. Cibao. I was gonna say Sahoma. That's us. Anyway, so he played catch on Friday. He could return, Dinelson Lamet. So Clevenger might return, Dinelson Lamet might return, and you have Chris Paddock, who had his worst start, I think, of the season in game 1. If he can return to Paddock form, that could be, I mean, they could go, you could reasonably see them go toe-to-toe with the other starting pitchers, and then it'll be a bullpen game.
And their bullpen is good.
Their bullpen is decent.
Although Trevor Rosenthal looked a little shaky when he came in second game, I think it was, but he got out of it. Still though, Trevor Rosenthal, man, I don't know about that. I don't know about that guy.
Yeah, I'm still going Dodgers too, though.
Same.
I'm still going Dodgers. All right, next series. Hopefully we go different here. So far you have the Rays, I have the Yankees. We both have Oakland. We both have the Dodgers. Miami versus Atlanta. Who do you got?
My heart wants to say Miami because I love the underdog story. I'm an underdog man myself, Manny. I don't know if you know, but I'm a Red Sox fan.
I know.
I'm a Bills fan. So there's an underdog tone to my lifestyle, you know, like it's not something that I can change. I can't do anything about it.
I just want to remind you that the Red Sox have won 4 championships since 2004. I wouldn't consider them an underdog anymore.
Sure. Anyways, tell yourself whatever you need to do, tell yourself to whatever. But you know,
go ahead, pick the Braves.
You're picking the Braves?
No, you pick the Braves.
I want to pick the Braves because their pitching was actually great against Cincinnati Reds. Although I don't know if it's just that the Cincinnati Reds forgot how to hit, but they looked pretty good, man. And again, Freddie Freeman, even though he didn't come through with the huge at bat, he had a great at bats overall. Ronald Acuna had great at bats. I know Marcell Ozuna had a big home run in game 2, but he could also still break out and take over a series, you know. Adam Duvall. Is Adam Duvall on
the Braves? Yeah.
Good for nothing, man. Guy didn't do shit. Just struck out a bunch of times, but he's still there, man. So this is a very tough choice. You know what? I think that people jumped the gun sending that little statistic out that the Marlins have never lost a playoff series in their entire franchise history. I'm like, all right, it was only 7 series, but I get it. Like it's cool. So I'm picking the Braves, man. Picking the Braves.
Wow, I did not see it go there. You went like you took the
picking the Braves.
When you go from, for those of you who don't know, when you go from where we're from, Sajoma to Puerto Plata to go to the beach, you could take 2 roads. There's the main highway, which is a new paved highway. So it's a straightaway shot. Or you could take La Curva de Jánico. You just took Jánico there, man. You just went fucking all over the place to get there. But I appreciate it because you're making the path a little bit more open for me to take the lead on this, on the record. I'm going Miami. I think Miami's going to win the series because I think that in terms of starting pitching, I think Sixto could go toe-to-toe with Max Fried. If Sixto has control, he could dominate that Braves lineup. And aside from Max Fried, I don't see anybody else in that rotation that scares me too much.
The guy that pitched the second game, I forgot who pitched the second game, but he also had a dominating start. I think he won like 6 innings, 7 innings, didn't give up a run. Again, it was against that Reds deflated lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I don't really know who they're gonna throw out there, but again, the Braves to me have one of the more scary lineups.
Yeah,
I'm still picking the Braves, man. Let's make it interesting.
That's fine, man. No, you can't change your pick, man. What the fuck do you think this is? Mike and the Mad Dog. Anderson. His name was Anderson. Mr. Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. Good for you, man.
So. I think so.
All right. Good. So now, in order for me to take the lead, you have to.
You just have to be right about something I'm wrong about.
Yeah. Okay.
Which would be the Rays series or the Marlins series or both.
Shit, man. All right. A lot of pressure here. All right. Tell us who you guys think is gonna advance in the next round by leaving a comment in the comment section. Where are we with subscribers, man? Are we at 100 yet?
As of yesterday, we were at 99 subscribers, Manny.
Okay. Every time we drop a video, we gain several subscribers. Now, let's reach that 100. Be that 100 subscriber. If you're that 100 subscriber, Luis, aka CT, aka LA, aka Hollywood, and so on and so forth, will personally send you a naked picture of himself.
You might have just lost some subscribers there, man. Nobody wants to see that.